All right, this is a little practice session over converting metric units. This is the more efficient way. I want you to know how to do it instead of trying to count decimal places. I want you to use what's called dimensional analysis. Dimensional analysis is simply using fractions to help you convert from one unit value to another. So we're going to do a few examples here. We're trying to figure out how many EG. Now we go over here and we look and we see E stands for exa, G is gram. So this is how many exagrams are in 5.01 kg. We know K stands for kilo. So we're trying to convert from kilograms. Whenever you set up a dimensional analysis problem, the first thing you always do is you write a question mark and you try and figure out what to put next to the question mark. Well, you're trying to figure out exagrams. So you're trying to figure out how many exagrams are equal to 5.01 kilograms. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make a line. A line just represents a separation between two conversion factors. This given number doesn't really count as a conversion factor, but this here is going to count as a conversion factor. It's a conversion factor between kg and eg. Well, we want to cancel out our kgs. So when you're talking about fractions, when do units cancel? Well, when they're diagonally situated from each other. So kg is going to go down here. Notice I haven't put any numbers in the second bracket yet. And what am I trying to find? Well, I'm trying to find x or eg, exagrams. Now we have to figure out what numbers to put in here. You want to look at the two values and figure out which one represents a bigger value, which one is bigger. Well, exa, as you can see, is 10 to the 18th. Kilo is 10 to the 3rd. Exa is much bigger. And all you do is you put a 1 next to the bigger unit. And then we have to figure out, all right, in 1x eg, how many kgs are there? And here's how we're going to do that. We go to our chart here, and we see that eg is 10 to the 18th exponentially. And we see that kg is what? Kg is 10 to the 3rd. So how many digits exponentially? In other words, when you look at 18 and you look at 3, how far apart are they? Well, they're 15 exponents apart. And that's what's going to go right here. 10 to the, and I'm using the 10 because we can't just put 15 because it's 10 to the 15th. 10 to the 15th. So what I'm saying here is that in 1 exagram there's 10 to the 15th kilograms. So I'm going to use that to help me divide here in a second. Cancel out my kgs. Now what unit is left? Exagrams. What am I trying to find? Exagrams. The reason it's important to do that is because later on these brackets can get longer. So am I going to divide here or multiply? Well, look at my numbers. It's 1 on the top, 1 is the numerator, 10 to the 15th is the denominator. And if that's the case, I'm going to do 5.01 times 1, in other words, just ignore that step, divided by 10 to the 15th. So I'm going to get my calculator out, and you could do this by hand, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you how you do on the calculator. 5.01 divided by, it might be easier on your calculator if you type 1 times 10 to the 15th. That way the calculator knows that you're using scientific notation. So how would you type in? You'd say 5.01 divided by 1. You remember that EXP button or EE button that we were talking about? You either hit EE or EXP depending on the type of calculator you have, and then 15. So 5.01 divided by 1, EE or EXP, 15. When you do that, you end up with a 5.01 times 10 to the 15th. Now, of course, like I said, you could have, oh, it should be negative 15. You could have figured that out if you know your algebra. 1 over 10 to the 15th is the same as 10 to the negative 15th. And we don't want to forget our units, so we put our units hexagrams. And it's a good rule of thumb to circle your answer. And there you go. There's our answer for the first one. All right, let's try the second one. 2.92 millimeters. And we're trying to convert that to nanometers. I'll go a little faster on this one. What am I trying to find? Well, I'm trying to find nanometers. So how many nanometers, m is meters, equals 2.92, 2.92 millimeters. Set up my bracket. Millimeters on the bottom, because I'm trying to cancel. Nanometers on the top, because I'm trying to get there. Now, which one's bigger, milli or nano? Well, you look over here, you see milli is 10 to the negative third, nano is 10 to the negative ninth. Isn't milli higher up on this chart? It is. 10 to the third, negative third is higher than 10 to the negative ninth, so milli is bigger. I'm going to put a 1 there. Again, notice up here, we put the 1 on top because exo is bigger. Well, 1 doesn't always go on top, it just goes next to the bigger value. Now I got to figure out how many nanometers are in a millimeter. Well, if milli is 10 to the negative third and nano is 10 to the negative ninth, how far apart is negative 3 to negative 9? Well, that's 6. Don't worry about the negatives. We're just looking at the distance between negative 3 and negative 9. Cancel out my millimeters. Now, am I going to multiply or divide here? Well, in this case, my big value, my 10 to the 6, is on the top. My 1's on the bottom. So this is just a multiplication problem. 2.92 times 10 to the 6 gives you 2.92 times 10 to the 6th nanometers. Okay. Again, if you were doing it with calculator, 2.92 times 1 EE6 or 1 EXP6, depending on your calculator. Now, how about the third one? Well, we have a little bit different type of number here. This is a number that is a scientific notation number, but the method is still the same. How many, capital M is megamoles, or capital M is mega, and then MOL stands for moles, equals 8.92 times 10 to the negative 8th femtomoles. Make my bracket. What unit's going to go on the bottom? Well, I'm trying to cancel out femto, so femto goes on the bottom. What's on the top? Mega, because I'm trying to find mega. Now I have to figure out which one's bigger. So is a mega or a femto bigger? Well, femto is 10 to the negative 15th, and mega is 10 to the 6th. Mega is higher up, mega is bigger, so we're going to put a 1 there. And then I got to figure out how many femtos are in a mega. So femto is 10 to the negative 15th. Mega is 10 to the 6th. How far are we talking from negative 15 to 6? Well, from negative 15 up to 0 is 15, and then 6 more adds up to 21. So 10 to the 21st. That's what you would do there. Am I going to multiply or divide? Well, in this case, my big number's on the bottom, so I'm going to divide. 8.92 times 10 to the negative 8th divided by 10 to the 21st. You would type this in on a calculator, 8.92 EXP or EE, negative 8, divided by 1 EXP or EE, 21. And when we do that, we end up with 8.92 times 10 to the negative 29, awfully small number, megamoles. Forgot to cancel out our femtos. There's our answer. One more. how many microseconds, that little weird mu symbol is called, well, it's called a mu symbol, it stands for micro, equals 9.83 times 10 to the 12th megaseconds. Make my bracket. What's going to go on the bottom? Megaseconds, because I'm trying to cancel. What goes on the top? Micro, because that's what I'm trying to find. Now, is microseconds or megaseconds bigger? Well, micro is down here, 10 to the negative 6th. Mega is way up here, 10 to the 6th. Mega is higher up, mega is bigger, so I'm going to put a 1 next to mega. And then I got to figure out, okay, mega, how far are we talking from mega to micro? Mega is 10 to the 6th. Micro is 10 to the negative 6th. How far are we talking from 6 to negative 6? Well, from negative 6 to 0 is 6, plus another 6 is 12. So we're talking about 10 to the 12. Megaseconds cancel. Now what am I going to do? Multiply or divide? Well, again, in this case, my bigger number is on the top, my 1's on the bottom, so I'm not going to divide at all here. I'm just going to multiply. I'm going to multiply 9.83 times 10 to the 12 times 1 times 10 to the 12th, or you can just say 10 to the 12th. If you're typing into the calculator, it would be 9.83 exp12 times 1 exp12. And again, when I say exp, you could also use EE, depending on what type of calculator you have. And when I do that, I get 9.83 times 10 to the 24th. And what are we talking for units? Microseconds. And there's my last answer. I hope that helps you convert in the metric system. We'll have some more in class that we'll do. Hope that helps.